Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. The double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rules well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of the video is There Be Spirits That Are Created for Vengeance. And basically, this is like breaking news. We have uh, basically National Guards shot in Washington, D.C., basically blocks away from the White House, and pretty much they're in critical condition. Right. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 39 and 28. It says, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them." Right. And ultimately, the hand of the Lord. It's like we'll grab that precept. Heart of the king. Right. The heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord. That's Proverbs 21. Let me grab it. Proverbs 21 and 1. It says, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh, Bashmi Awashad. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will." Right. And we know this to be true because the scriptures tell us that these devils would bring out what the MOTB. Right. And this is plans that, they have set up, and they're planning it out. So whatever counsel they had, whatever plans they made, it's aligned with the scriptures, and that's because the Most High Yahweh Bashmi Shai is leading these devils to where He wants them. Right? Isaiah 10 says He is a tool. Isaiah 10 and 5. Let me see this in the NLT. Isaiah 10 and 5 NLT. "What sorrow awaits Assyria, the rod of my anger? I use it as a club to express my anger. I am sending Assyria against a godless nation, against a people with whom I am angry. Assyria will plunder them, trampling them like dirt beneath his feet. But the king of Assyria will not understand that he is my tool. His mind does not work that way. His plan is simply to destroy, to cut down nation after nation." Right? And this is ultimately what America has done. Right? America has been used as a tool, right, to basically, go out, conquer, and do the bidding of the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Shad. And that goes into the elites, the kings, right? And we understand that the Amalekites, the chief of nations, run and control the world. And ultimately, they control America. Therefore, they control, the world because, America is leading the world. And they're a tool. So all their plans is the Most High Yahweh Bashmi Shad's plan. And like I stated earlier, we can see that clearly because in the scriptures, it tells us that you know they will basically bring forth the MOTB, right? First Maccabees 3 and 48 says they laid open the book of the law and basically tried to paint their images in it, so they know they took our word, they took us into slavery, and all these things are written down, but yet they still had only one plan. That plan has led them to where we are right now. So it shows you that they have no choice, no way out. They can't, they don't have free will basically, right? Because otherwise, if this, if we, if something about to happen, you would try to, kind of prevent it, or you make up a plan, and then your plans is written somewhere. You can see that your plan is written. You try to come up with a different plan, because obviously we can see your plan, but these devils didn't do that because it's not. They can't. Right? They only can do what the Lord Yahweh Bashmi allows. Right? The scriptures say that the Most High has set the bounds for them that they cannot pass. Basically, He has set them up in boundaries and things like that. They can't get out of that lane to do something else. They're only going to do what the Lord allows. So basically, we have spirits created for vengeance, like I said, which is all over the breaking news. You know, which I'm gonna play the video. This dude, they're saying it's an Afghan national. He shot two National Guard soldiers. right? But this is what the Lord wants, because Luke 12 says what? Luke 12 and 49, it says, right letter here, it says, I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? Now, NLT says, I have come to set the world on fire, and I wish it were already burning. So, there's the Most High Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, wants complete hell here because we're at the end, right? Where the tokens are manifest, the prophecies, the scriptures, everything is coming to pass. This is the time now where these things will be revealed. Grab that in Luke 21, I believe. Luke 21 and 22. Let me see. It says, Luke 21 and 22, it says, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled, right? And we understand that Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is a big beginning of it that follow it, right? And they have to end their world, and that's why the Most High Yahweh Bashmiel Shah is allowing them to go ahead and implement this plan, right? To bring about the new world order, which is really the end of the world. Okay. It says, Ecclesiastes chapter 39 and 28, it says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. And Yahweh Bashmiel Shah made all of this, right? And the people, and he controls the people. It says fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Even when Esau out here with the cloud seeding to create these different storms, that's the Most High Yahweh, heating up this place, destroying it, bringing turmoil, right? Destructions and things like that. It says teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. Right. So this is all the Lord is doing. The scriptures say, shall a trumpet be blown, and the people not be afraid. I know it's in Amos. Let me see if it's 3. Let me see. Amos 3 and 6, shall a trumpet be blown in a city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city and the Lord Yahweh Bashmiel Shah have not done it? Surely the Lord Yahweh Bashmiel Shah will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret to his servants, the prophets, right? And it's the water Yahweh Bashmiel Shah. All right, so here's that video. Right, and this is just one of the many. Okay. This is NBC News.
Terror in the heart of Washington, D.C., just 2 blocks from the White House.
This is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these guardsmen.
Video captured the moments police and National Guard troops subdued a suspect while a few feet away performing CPR on someone who's down.
Suspect came around the corner. He immediately started firing a firearm at the 2 National Guard members.
2 National Guard troops shot. NBC Washington reports one is a male guardsman, the other a female, both from West Virginia in critical condition.
There were other National Guard members that were in the area. They heard the gunfire. They actually were able to intervene and to kind of hold down the suspect after he had been shot on the ground until law enforcement got there within moments.
West Virginia's governor posting, our prayers are with the brave service members, their families, and the entire Guard community. NBC's Andrea Mitchell was nearby.
I was about half a block away, heard sirens. People were running in the opposite direction. I came over, talked to a woman. She said she was in an Uber, heard 2 loud booms. She did not see the alleged shooter or the incident itself, but all of a sudden, police, Secret Service started congregating right at this corner.
I definitely heard 2 boom booms. I saw the children running. I saw the adults running.
President Trump not in the White House, but in Mar-a-Lago for Thanksgiving, writing on Truth Social, the animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen, with both being critically wounded and now in separate hospitals, is also severely wounded, but regardless, will pay a very steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. It was last May when President Trump ordered National Guard troops into D.C. to assist police in bringing down violent crime. Yesterday, he credited the troops with helping to do just that.
And you can walk down any street in Washington and you're going to be just fine. And I want to thank the National Guard.
Today's deadly incident follows a series of attacks against federal law enforcement. In July, 10 suspects in tactical gear attacked an ICE facility, wounding a local police officer in Alvarado, Texas. Days later, a suspect opened fire on Border Patrol agents in McAllen, Texas. The suspect killed. And in September, a sniper on a roof in Dallas opened fire on a van at an ICE facility. The suspect had inscribed anti-ICE on his ammunition. 2 undocumented immigrants killed.
Tom is with us live again from that very active scene. Tom, have we learned anything else about what prompted this attack?
Yeah, that's a high priority for both D.C. police and the FBI, who are coordinating on this investigation. But they are moving more assets in as we speak into this park in the heart of D.C. They will likely be here all through the night. Hallie, we thank you for watching.
Right. And ultimately, is the this whole setup has been prescribed. Just the militarization of the police, right? To bring the National Guard here, because the only reason why this person was able to shoot these National Guards is because of their new laws and decrees that President Nero 47 is bringing out, right? So I was thinking about that. I'll grab it real quick, because it's like I said, this is the Most High's plan to allow these devils to make a plan that they think is their own plan, but it's really not, So Isaiah 10:1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and the right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that wills may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. And they're separating people from each other, denying rights, taking advantage of orphans. And this is what's going on too in a big way regarding that Epstein's situation. NOT says, Isaiah 10:1, what sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. They deprive the poor of justice and deny the rights of the needy among my people. You got different people being picked up at the court offices trying to do the right thing. It says they prey on widows and take advantage of orphans. All right. So let me grab this right here. Then we'll get this next video. 2 Ezra 15 and 7:14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth not. Right. So again, this is just another warning going out. Right. The stage is set. And immediately within the same time period of these individuals, because that happened just now today, right around 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever the case may be. Trump he says he's going to send 500 more National Guard, to DC. All right, so what's going to happen? Obviously, more was already happening. All right, it says martial law, civil war. 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the road and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings and princes, and that's exactly what happened. Today you have the king, Nero 47, and his princes would be, some of the military officials, which, got shot. It says, in the course of their action shall stand in their power. And we've seen a perfect example of that just now, right? It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So this is going to bring about martial law, closing and curfews and things like that. All of these things is what it's going to. All right. But it's going to get worse, It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. Yeah, so you already have in the background Trump getting rid of the food bank system, the EBT system, and food prices is high as hell. People are losing jobs. So there's going to be lack of bread. So people are going to have to still fight for it. And then you got the guards blocking the stores and whatnot. Right. So all these things are just is plagues, right? And it's all here. And it's just brewing and getting worse and worse. So once again, that's just a warning. Now play a little bit of this dude. He kind of connects the executive order that Trump just signed 2 days ago regarding the Muslim order or whatever and now you have this Afghan national, shooting. So we can clearly see that these things are scripted, Basically, in this situation, we would say you can't make this shit up, right? Trump signed an executive order regarding basically brown people 2 days before this brown guy basically, shot these individuals. So now it gives them the ability to crack down,
This is big breaking news. An emergency situation is going on right now in Washington, D.C., and we are getting shocking revelations of what actually happened. And President Trump just signed an executive order as well, too. Very important, and these are related. So let's get into all the details here. You guys can see 2 National Guard members are fighting for their life right now, and it's being investigated as a possible act of terrorism. We're going to get into all the details of that. And we also have President Trump signing an executive order. You can see here Trump signs executive order targeting certain Muslim Brotherhood chapters as terror groups. Okay, so Trump signed this on Monday. And then 2 days later, we have this incident, and we are being told that this attack, we'll get into more details of that executive order, but this attack happened on 2 National Guard members right outside of the White House from a Afghan national. Okay, you can see here, it says a 29-year-old man whose last known location was in Bellingham, Washington, has been identified as a suspect in today's incident. 4 senior law enforcement sources told NBC News. His name is Ra Manula Lakanwal and has been identified as a suspect, says 4 senior law enforcement sources. It says here, police have said the National Guard members were on patrol when a person came around the corner, raised a firearm, and fired upon them. The 2 National Guard members are in critical condition. That's what officials say.
You know, and what I'll say is that I was watching this thing live basically when it happened. You know, I just so happened to be in some type of traffic or whatever. I was able to click a person that was reporting live on it, and then they were talking about it. You know, he was watching it as it was happening. He was on CNN, he was on Fox, right? And they were saying those individuals are confirmed that the Virginia mayor or governor, you know, whoever confirmed these National Guards who are from Virginia dead, right? And then Fox and CNN said we're getting reports now from Virginia mayor or whatever that yeah, they are dead. And then the man from Virginia posted, sorry, I'm getting conflicted reports now. We don't know what's happening. They're fighting for their life basically. And then Fox and CNN also did that while I was watching it live. And then yeah, so that's pretty much what happened with that. So, you know, we have to wait and see what they do with that. I want to grab this real quick. This is Isaiah, I think it was just like Jeremiah 51 and 2. Says, Jeremiah 51 and 1, this is what the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashai says, I will stir up a destroyer against Babylon and the people of Babylonia. Foreigners will come and windmill her, blowing her away as chaff. They will come from every side to rise against her in her day of trouble. Right, in America, Babylon, you know, is in her day of trouble. Right, this is that time now. We're at the end. The end has manifested itself. Okay, this is Jeremiah 51:1. Thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashai, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. And will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. What? Fanning that fire, right? For in a day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Right. So you have these different individuals let in, right, by the Biden administration and basically continued with the Trump administration, you know, and they're just doing the bidding, right? They're shooting people. You know, whatever the case may be. Remember, we had multiple things happening. We had people running into traffic with their cars at like parties and things like that. Bombs going off, car explosions going off. Right, so there's a lot been happening. It's just increasing and intensifying.
And the suspect was also hit as well too. So the story that I'm seeing behind the scenes is that they were walking and they were unarmed. And this guy came from around the corner, fired upon them. And from the pictures that I'm seeing that are pretty bad, and I don't want to show them on here because it's sad and these people have families and I don't want to show that, but it looked like they were hit in the head. Okay. And the West Virginia governor did report that they possibly passed away, but he came back and said that's not confirmed and they are still fighting for their life. All right. So that's what's going on right now. It's being reported that this man was.
And when he said it the first time, he said confirmed dead. That was his first statement, confirmed dead. But then he came back and said, oh, never mind. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about.
a Afghan national who was brought in under a program in the U.S. called Operation Allies Welcome, which is a program created to resettle Afghans after the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. So do you remember during the Biden administration, there was this big withdrawal of the U.S.
And I'll just let you continue, Sloppy.
military, and there was this program that was set up in the aftermath of this to allow lots of people to enter the country from Afghanistan, and he entered the country through this program. That is what's being reported, and it's being investigated as a potential act of terror. You can see here, officials said the suspect, who is alleged to have used a handgun, has been initially identified as an Afghan national. Law enforcement officials are still trying to confirm all of the person's details. They said a motive has not been determined and the nature of the investigation could change. There's some information that's not confirmed that I'm hearing behind the scenes that I'll share with you guys in just a second. And it also says both guard members were hit in the head. This is what sources are reporting, okay? And President Trump just signed an executive order designating multiple chapters of the Muslim Brotherhood as a, quote, terror group, all right? And this is not confirmed, but this is what sources are saying behind the scene. It's saying law enforcement sources in D.C. are Brotherhood.
So it says President Donald Trump signed an executive order Monday directing Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bassett to begin designating certain chapters of the Muslim Brotherhood as foreign T's organizations and especially designated global T's. Okay.
As a, quote, terror group, all right? And this is not confirmed, but this is what sources are saying behind the scene. It's saying law enforcement sources in D.C. are saying the National Guardsman's suspect who attacked them used a revolver. And it says the National Guardsmen were not armed. I'm not sure why they were not armed with not even a sidearm or anything like that, but tragically, it's being reported they were unarmed and both hit in the head. And it's saying another guardsman responded with gunfire and hit the suspect multiple times. And the suspect allegedly shouted, quote, Allahu Akbar. Right? That's what law enforcement sources in D.C. are saying as well, too. That is not confirmed at this moment, but I just thought that was interesting information. All right. And they're saying that this was a, quote, targeted attack targeting these National Guard members. All right. So very concerning. In response, we have the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. He is saying that hundreds of National Guardsmen are now going to be flooded to the streets of Washington, D.C. in response. Let's listen to this. And this kind of honestly just confirms the initial worry about crime and the situation in these cities. I mean, this kind of, reiterates that something's going on in a lot of these big cities and they're not safe. And even the National Guardsmen are not safe just walking around. So this kind of proves the point that maybe we do need more National Guardsmen, but it's also like we are getting to this point where what comes next? I mean, are we just going to have martial law at this point? Because what happens if more and more of these people that have bad intentions start doing more attacks like this? All right. And news sources are speculating. Let's listen to Pete Hegseth really quick.
Very productive meetings, but I want to start by saying after those meetings, myself and my team were notified that 2 National Guardsmen have been shot in Washington, D.C., critically wounded. The shooter shot in a cowardly, dastardly act targeting the best of America. Heroes willing to serve in Washington, D.C., serve for people they don't know and they've never met because they love their country and their capital and their community. They were willing to do dangerous things. Others were not because they love their fellow Americans. Someone decided to turn that into targeting National Guardsmen. That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. We will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve.
Right. So as you can see, there's no stopping this. We're in those times, right? Okay. So Shalom bill for elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.